Welcome back into Tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline. You know, when we were at IFA recently in Berlin, Germany, we caught up with some friends of ours. Most specifically and first was the lovely Natalia. And as a result, she said, you know, I'm working at this really cool company in Berlin, and it would be really nice if you could stop by and just say hello. So we did. And then we found out it really is a cool company. They're doing some very unique things. You know, there's so many app developers around the world. There's so many people doing unique things. But this is fun. This is interesting. The more and more we learn about our next guest, the more we're having fun with what they do. So we're on the rooftop of their office in the center of Berlin. And we thought we'd chat with some senior folks from Wire. This is a really cool communications app, and we're going to talk about that. So first of all, the co-founder and the head of design, also a former Skype employee, so maybe he brought some ideas over and perfected them, made them even more interesting, is Predu Zilmer. Predu, welcome into Tomorrow. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So you are co-founder. How many co-founders do you have in your group?
We have 3.
Really?
Yes, it's me and 2 other people.
So first of all, why Wire?
Why Wire as a company and the app, or why the name?
Well, let's start with the name.
We just liked it. We were able to get it, and we just liked it. So yeah, that was our decision, and we're happy with it. Why Wire as a company and the app? We a few years back, when we all left our previous positions with previous companies and employers, we thought about the communication space where we were in, and we were thinking, like, you know, is this it? You know, is it done? Are we done with our tasks and the things that we were working on? And decided that no, not at all, and we should look around and see what's been done in what is done in the comm space, and where can we take it further. So we sat down, the 3 co-founders, discussed about, like, what's the team that we could compose. We got involved also one of the co-founders of Skype, Janus Fries, and we came up with a plan to create a little application that basically would suit all your communication needs.
But you also sort of compete with Skype, with Wire, do you not?
Yes, well, Skype's an incredible success story. I worked with them for 7 years, and I saw it grow from very, very small company of 30 people all the way to, you know, several hundred employees. And back at that time, Skype's big break and Skype's opportunity was mostly related to voice calls, calling from a computer to computer and computer to landline. By today, things have changed. That communication is everything. It's the voice calls, it's pictures, it's music, it's video, it's GIFs, it's everything that we do on our devices, and it also has moved to mobile, so the landscape has changed, like, pretty radically. So we took all these things into mind and tried to reimagine and rethink what it would be like, you know, in this day and age to do this on our mobile devices, and you know, what is different from that. So that's our difference from Skype.
Cool. Very cool. And also joining us on the roof on this lovely evening in the middle of Berlin is the marketing director for Wire, and that's Siim Teller. Siim, welcome into Tomorrow as well.
Thanks, Dave. Good to have you here.
Glad to have you with us as well. This is my kind of weather, because we're from Miami, and it doesn't get cool like this very often. Our winter is like a whole 2 weeks, cumulative, you know, after a day or 2 here, and we might get some cool weather. This is outdoor air conditioning for me, so I'm loving it. And I know you were a bit chilled. You had a nice Wire T-shirt on, and then you had to cover it. And we're on the roof, so he says, let me get my jumper. And I guess that's what you call that. We would just call that kind of a sweatshirt or an overshirt or something. And I'm thinking, don't jump. We haven't even done the interview yet. But it's very nice here. You guys must be able to escape during the day once in a while and just say, I'm going to go out for a breather and just catch my breath and clear my head and think even more about developing. But I'm going to ask you then specifically what folks use Wire for and how it's becoming already so successful.
Sure. So first of all, what Wire is a messaging app, but it's much more. As Predu described, we took apart previous comms app like Skype and WhatsApp and even Facebook, Dropbox and email thrown in there, and we put it together in a new way, in a very beautiful way. So you have rich communications with music and videos embedded right into the chat. You can press play and continue talking. There's really good quality calling in the application, and it's all secure and private because we care about that. So you can do everything you can do with other apps, but we've hidden the clutter. It doesn't look childish with colorful speech bubbles. It actually looks very design is such a big word, but really nice. And I talk to our customers every day, and they tell me these awesome stories of how they use it for to talk to their loved ones across the street, across the world, and that's their special app that they use for that, because it looks nice, and they want everything about the relationship to be very nice. But at the same time, although we're building this for consumers, we're starting to hear from businesses, small and big. I could hint at the German luxury car maker, where a couple of people started using it within the team, and somehow it matched their design ethos and approach to work. And now the whole team is using it, and they're kind of trying to pick it up inside the company, which is really nice grassroots movement that we like.
And of course, a German luxury car company. There's not more than one or two or half a dozen here. So that's as close as you're going to narrow it down. But what's neat about that is how you guys say, well, you really developed it for consumers, friends and families and that sort of thing. But now you're seeing businesses take up the app Wire and saying this does fit a niche for us. But I'm also hearing in my head, members of our audience saying, well, okay, I use WhatsApp, I use Hangouts, I use some of the many others like iMessage, that sort of thing. Why would it be any different if I went with Wire? And you're available on iOS, on Android, even desktops. Yeah. So it seems like the way to go. Why isn't everybody using it? Because privacy is important, and because you're doing some rather unique things, and the communication tools you're using are far better, it seems, than a lot of these other messaging apps.
Sure. So first of all, Wire's quite young. We launched in December, and then kept it...
Of last year?
Of last year, yes.
Not even a year old then?
No, 8 months, 9 months now? Yeah. So I guess we'll celebrate in 3rd of December was the launch day, I think.
People are always talking about, although these days, especially they say with the younger kids, it's hard to get the family together. It used to be you'd sit down for dinner and you'd socialize with your family after work, after school, at the end of the day. And more people are finding that more difficult to do. So sometimes maybe they're apart. But now a messaging app like Wire can still keep the family together. So you're finding that a lot of folks are doing that, whether it's because of travel or just of course. I'm thinking like Chris's daughter away at school, and you're away at college and they're far away. Hey, how about let's launch Wire and have a chat. Why is it better than iMessage in that sense, for example? They always do FaceTime, for example, because they're all iPhonies. I'm the Android guy in the family, but they're all iPhonies.
There you go. You're an Android, so you can't really have that FaceTime call, whereas Wire is available on all platforms. Windows Phone has to yet to demonstrate the market share, I guess. But we're a small team, so we have to pick and choose the battles. It is available on all platforms, and when I like to describe why Wire through what people tell me about why they chose Wire. And for some people, it's about the design. As I said, it's unlike any other messaging app out there. For others, and Germany especially, is all about security and privacy. People really care about their private lives staying private, and not having companies resell their data to advertisers, and perhaps there being backdoors for God knows who. So that's an important part. And then sometimes it's the small fun stuff, the animated GIFs that are super easy to send, or sketching.
Which most messaging apps can't do animated GIFs. And some people say, thankfully, because who knows what you're going to be sending me. But the fact that you can with Wire takes it another step further and gets even more people interested.
And the other really nice thing that we have is sketching. You can open up almost like a sheet of paper and sketch something and send it to the other person. And what makes it even more fun is that they can actually respond on that very picture, basically. So they can take it and sketch their answer on top of that. And these at first seem a bit like silly, but it's actually pretty amazing how people pick up on those and start using them. So it's really, really nice.
And your app is free. I mentioned that as well, but you don't even have any ads. So how do you support yourselves and this small yet huge developer community you've got?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, then we're kind of big on privacy, so we don't snoop on people, what they do or who they are, and that kind of doesn't rhyme well with ads, because publishers or advertisers do want to know who they're advertising to and want to target that. If possible, then by the postal index and whatnot. Yeah. So we haven't yet kind of set on a plan how to monetize that, because there's so much innovation happening in the messaging space. Some people are trying in-app purchase for stickers, others are doing paid apps, those are integrating with pizza service, pizza ordering or taxi ordering. So there's a lot happening in that space, and we're kind of keeping our options open, but ads don't see that really working with us.
How does one get the app on their various app stores and so forth? Just search for Wire?
Yes, it's available on Apple's App Store, on Google Play Store. You can go to wire.com and read all about it, and see the download section, and all the links are there. So it's pretty easy to find.
Terrific. So wire.com, how'd you get that domain? That's too easy a domain to have been available only less than a year ago. Or did one have it in their pocket for some time and said, now it's time to surface?
Well, as you said earlier, we know people who know people.
Well, you certainly do, and that's awesome. Check them out at wire.com. And, of course, we'll link you there from intotomorrow.com. Gentlemen, keep up the good work. It's a fine messaging app. I'm anxious to use it. We got to get everybody's whole family on it, so no matter what they're using, it's very cross-platform friendly, and your app plays nice together with all the other platforms. I heard somebody in the background say the barbecue's ready, so we're going to wrap this up and eat.
Good plan.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Into Tomorrow continues on the Advanced Media Network.